Hi, Sandra Embleton here, channeling the Holy Grail energy. And I just wanted to do a quick talk about twin flame love. I watched a lot of videos online, and it talks about twin flame love, and it talks about the attraction of twin flame love and how you know when it happens to you and everything. So it's very technical. But I have experienced the connection of my twin flame soul. And because it was such a profound event, I wanted to be able to speak to you today about the love frequency that is in a twin flame connection. So I'm going to channel for you right now that frequency, so you'll be able to feel it through your phone or your iPad or your computer. Okay, so I'm going to tap into that frequency of love. Okay. And I'm placing myself back in the moment when I connected, the exact moment when we met, when I met my twin flame. First of all, it was unexpected. It was completely unexpected. I didn't expect it to be happening. But then again, I will share also with you that one of the secrets, I believe, for me was there was something in me, I would say, almost since I was married to Dave Embleton, 30 years ago. So 30 years ago. So just, I guess, after, a little while after I was married, yeah. So, yeah, about that time. And something happened in me. I felt this desire to find somebody. And I don't know where it came from, and I don't know why it would be there, but there was something inside of me that said, you have to find somebody. There's a guy, you have to meet a man. And I go, okay, well, and you'll find him. He's out there somewhere. So the information was, when you see him, you'll know him. You'll know it. I kept hearing, when you meet this man, there'll be a connection, and you'll click, and you'll know it's him. So I didn't know why Spirit was telling me I was going to meet another man, but it was almost as if it was always, that little message was there in the back of my head, telling me, alerting me to be on the lookout for some man where I would meet him and I would feel his connection. That's been going on for over 30 years for me. But I didn't know really what that meant, so I'd go to parties, or I'd go to, places when we were holidays and stuff, and I would have my senses out, and I'd go, all right, who am I supposed to meet? It was there, and I never really acknowledged it consciously, but it was there, and I just didn't give it much credit because I was married and I wasn't looking for another man. And I really didn't know what it meant. So anyway, but I just remembered every time I was in a social situation or met new people, there was something inside of me that just scanned the room. I just let my energy go, just scan the room, almost as if, is there a connection with anyone here? Is there a connection with a man here? And if there is, will I feel it, and what will it feel like? So, yeah, I guess this is really about the first time meeting and the first time connection with your twin flame. But when this happened to me, I was expecting to meet a man who's going to give me one of the signatures in my book. Just like everybody else. I've been doing this for 10 years, finding all these people who carry the light of Christ on the planet. And I'm thinking to myself, this is just somebody else who's seen one of my videos, and they're feeling, they felt something inside. They felt something. Well, I have to contact her. I have to call her. I have to, and it's because they're being called on a soul level, on a spirit level. They're being called because there's a time for them to show up and sign. So I'm always on the lookout for when it could be someone's time. So here's this man who contacted me on saw one of my videos, contacted me, started emailing me, sending me poetry and stuff like that, and that he had written, because he was a poet. He was an author, and he was a very spiritual man. He said it was just a very spiritual man who spent his life devoting it to spirit. And I thought, well, that's kind of cool. But I just I didn't think too much of the connection. I thought it was cool, but it was just, to me, I downplayed it. I wasn't aware. So we communicated from January 1st until February 7th, when we actually arranged to meet in person. And up until that time, though, we corresponded on email, and there wasn't any attraction. There wasn't any alert for me that this was my twin flame. I didn't feel anything inside. So we agreed to meet in the physical on February 7th, 2014, and when we did, this is what it was like. I just want you to know the feeling. I walked in, and here's this little gnome of a man, and he walked right up into my face. And it was so cute, because he comes out and he says to me, you were my mother in a past life in Italy. It was so serious. And of course, for someone who's a spiritual being like myself, that's probably one of the best opening lines you could give me, because now I'm interested in you, because I want to hear more what you have to say. And then he literally just stood there, looked in my eyes, as if he had to deliver this message in the first 5 minutes of our meeting, or he would have died. Like, he just had to tell me all this information. It was so cute. He goes, I just want you to know that you're the real deal, and you're real love. And you are the goddess. You are the goddess. And he just said, you're the real deal. You're pure love. He says, you're pure love, like a mother-son love, like a pure love. And he says, that's who you are. And then he says, don't ever be on anybody else's television show or talk show. He says, you should always have your own. Because he said, you're the people, you're the woman, you're the person that people aspire to be. So he says, hold yourself up high. And he said, don't ever make yourself accountable to anyone. He says, because you're love. And when he said that to me, it was just like, I was speechless. I didn't know what to say, because it was lovely. It was lovely. But it was like he was identifying me. It's like I think he saw my videos, and you might think, oh, she's a bit of a, ooh, she got all these videos, she's an author, ooh, I'm meeting her for the first time. I know how I feel if I see someone on TV and I watch their television show or whatever, and then you see them in person, you go, whoa, that's them in person. So I don't know if there was a bit of that. I don't know, and I'm not trying to come from ego, I'm just wondering about where he was coming from in his mind, because he was, he was nervous, and he was like blurted everything out, right? So, just to make sure he got his message across. So once he told me all that, I asked him to sit down. Like, it was really funny, because I'm going, oh, nice things to say, and then going, you want to sit down? And he came and he sat down in this restaurant with my friends and I. So I'm sitting across from this man. His name was Dave as well. So Dave is his name. And he sat across from me, and I put the book, the book for the 500, between us. And I remember my other friend Teresa sat to the right of him. Mary sat beside me, and then Teresa's granddaughter Lily beside Mary. So there's 5 of us at the table, and I remember that no sooner had we sat down, and he looked at me and I looked at him, and the funniest thing happened that you wouldn't believe. I couldn't talk. I couldn't talk. I couldn't say a word. And I think the reason that I couldn't talk, or that I couldn't say a word, was there was so much going on at a cellular level between us that words would have gotten in the way. And it was almost as if we had to go into this forced silence so that our conscious or subconscious minds could start and begin to communicate and instantly exchange information about one another in a recognition manner. In other words, our soul spirits began to recognize one another, and the shock of the connection, or the intensity of the recognition information exchanges going on at such a high level were so powerful and so direct and so immediate that we couldn't talk, because words would have gotten into the way. They just would have. But I just sat in silence, and then inside I was trying to deal with the feelings of, oh my God, what's happening to me? What's happening to me? There's feelings coming into my being, and I'm going, oh, and all of a sudden I felt the energy and the emotion of a little girl having her first schoolboy crush, like sitting on the swings, in the playground, and you're seeing this guy, and your feet are dangling back and forth because you're just like, oh, I really like him, I really, really like him. That first crush when you like a boy so much that they're more than just a friend. You want to be around them. You want to, kiss them. That's what you want to do when you're a little girl. You're young, your first love. You want to kiss that guy. And for me, I'm all of a sudden experiencing little girl love for this man who's sitting across the table from me, and he was not at all attractive to me, physically, period, at all. He had on this great big beard, he had on a hat pulled over, his big aviator glasses, and this old, more like ratty ski jacket, and I just looked at him, and he reminded me of somebody that I knew, and I just didn't even think twice about, well, this guy's really good looking. I didn't think that at all. I was just sitting there feeling his energy, and then the energy got so strong and so much, it was like growing and growing, and the love I was feeling was becoming stronger and stronger. And it was such a big feeling of love emanating from me. I was surprised by it, and I couldn't stop it, and I couldn't control it. And I just was feeling more and more and more love, pouring in, pouring in, pouring in. And then as he was sitting there looking at me, I had a very weird experience. I had a very unusual experience. Now, I would like to hear back from more people, because I would like to know if this was your experience as well. But what happened next was the holographic face of Jesus Christ came out of his face and came out and was right in front of me. And Jesus looked at me in the eye and said to me, I'm in here. And then the holographic vision went back into his face. Now, I'm sitting there seeing this, and then Dave turned and started talking to my friend Teresa, and I'm looking at him, and I just went, thanks for showing me the Christ in you. And he turned to me over his shoulder, and he goes, no problem, and carried on talking. Well, you could have blown me over with a feather, because I'm sitting there going, I know I just saw something that is beyond explanation, defies rationale, but I know what I just saw, and I'm in shock what I just saw, because I don't know how to explain what I just saw or what I just heard. So I just sat there and stared again in silence. And then during the course of the next little bit, I got up, I got down, I came and sat down across from him. He had his hand on the table. I put my hand on the table 8 inches from him, and a shot of energy went down my arm, through my hands, up his hands and in his arm. In an instant, it was like a lightning bolt between us, almost igniting it. There was so much going on, and this lightning bolt of energy went from me to him, and he looked up at me, and he was shocked too. He went, I felt that. I felt that. And I went, wow, I felt that. And you have to understand, we weren't even talking But he just said out loud, I felt that. And inside all this stuff was going on, but I wasn't talking to him because I didn't know what to say. So anyway, I was sitting there across from him, and this feeling of love, I just want to feel it so I can share it. This feeling of love that I had for him came through me with such a softness, with such a recognition, with such an overwhelming need to be vocalized. The energy needed to be spoken into the physical world in order to make it real. And the energy came through me, and I remember looking in his eyes. And after sitting there in silence for so long and trying so hard not to talk, not to say anything, not just to control the wave of emotions I was feeling, and I looked into his eyes, and I remember the feeling just came up, and I just looked at him and I said, I love you. I love you. I love you. And it was such love. It was such I just stated what I knew. And it was so inappropriate in the physical world, on the physical plane, because we have our social graces and we play our games and everything, but to meet someone at the first meeting and then to be able to honestly share and say, I love you. And I loved him from something that was outside of myself, that seemed to be in me. And that was it. And then we ended up leaving the restaurant where we met and went to a meditation meeting. And the whole time in the car, the whole time driving there, like, all I could do was stare at him, not talking. Like, I just wanted to, it was just like, if you were beside me in the car, it was me just looking over and going, huh? Like, huh? Looking at his eyes, his nose, his lips, listening to his voice, looking everything about this person, and at the same time, I'm looking at him, I'm having all these thoughts, and I'm going, what is going on with me? And that is the twin flame recognition in a nutshell, and a feeling. Because it was undeniable, unmistakable. There was a supernatural occurrence that transpired. Two, the one with the face of Christ coming out, and the other was I would say, the lightning bolt going between us. And the inability to stop the flow of love coming out of me. I couldn't stop myself from saying I love you, and meaning it to a total stranger. I couldn't stop it. I had to say it. It just came through me so strong. So, thoughts to ponder for those of you looking at twin flame videos, wondering, have I met my twin flame? Am I in a twin flame relationship? Was that similar to our meeting? How was your first meeting as a twin flame, meeting your twin flame? Yours might be totally different. I am sharing my piece of it. I'm sharing my occurrence, my happening, my moment at twin flame recognition, because I'm hoping to share with others who are on this quest to find their twin flame what it felt like for me. You can take this information and do with it what you will. Yours might be different. I hope it is, but I'm doing my best to research out what are the common characteristics of a twin flame meeting that are indicative of only a twin flame meeting. So people can tell the difference, because there's a lot of people that think they're in twin flame relationships, that want to be in twin flame relationships, they don't know. And they want information. They want to be able to make the distinction, because they could be seriously looking for their twin flame, aware that their twin flame is on the planet. They could have this knowing that there is some other half of themselves that they need to locate and find. They might be going through all these feelings as well. So I'm hopefully can share this story and help others on their way towards what it is like to encounter your twin flame. Okay, thank you very much.